Member for Maprik.
Yeah, thank you, as Speaker Long, Luke Sao Long. Me, and first time sign up me talk. I'd like to acknowledge my people of Maprik. Long give me opportunity to come back in long Parliament. I was the former member for the last 10 years, being senior minister in the cabinet for 10 years. So I'd like to have an opportunity to contribute to the grievance debate. Firstly, I'd like to congratulate Prime Minister Honorable James Marape for being elected as the Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea, and his Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable John Rosso. Thank you for the people of Makam and people of Taripori for giving the mandate. Yes. Oh, Lay, sorry. I'm here to, I've been out for 10 years. From the outside, I could see how the government was performing in the last 10 years. And what I've realized now is that the most important key agency of government to advise the government properly, I thank the Prime Minister yesterday, 2 days ago for bringing the amendment to have the office of the Chief Secretary to be appointed as the head of CACC. CACC is a very important advisory body within the NEC. All the ministers of government, before any submissions of any related projects submit to NEC, it must be scrutinized by the committee. Very, very important. It comprises of all of our think tanks of Papua New, highly qualified, trained, and expert advisors, comprising of head of departments and the head of private entities that is part of the committee. They screen all the submissions and recommend the submissions to NEC. So what I realized recently, the office of the former Minister of Agriculture, as you see, currently now, in the Agriculture Department, there are 3 acting secretaries who are now running the Agriculture Department. And one of the recent acting secretary, I believe, he didn't go through the proper process. The former minister, appointed a non-public servant to be the acting secretary, who is Dr. Nelson Sibingen. He's not a public servant. What powers?
Minister, what is your point of order?
It's a grievance debate.
My point of order, Mr. Acting Speaker, is that the information is not correct about the current acting secretary as known, not to be allowed. It's provided for under the process that from the statutory or from the community boards, they can be considered to be appointed as heads of department. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. With due respect, as a speaker, the report I got today, I had, in fact, consulted 2 acting secretaries. One was the current secretary. That's yeah. He is the acting secretary, but they cannot implement the policy of government. The important thing that I'd like to stress here is that Prime Minister has seen fit to appoint respective ministers in its respective community boards. Minister for Coffee is a very, very important ministry. Minister for Oil Palm is a very important ministry. And Minister for Livestock is a very important ministry. And we have the Minister for Agriculture. Now, Minister of Agriculture cannot perform. He doesn't know which secretary can implement the policy of government. So the current suspended secretary, he's still fighting the court battle, and they've been arguing if I'm correct, they've been arguing that the appointment of those various persons are still questionable. But the point I'm trying to get here is that coffee industry is playing a very, very important, coffee ministry has played a very, very important ministry insofar as coffee in the country is concerned. I just got a message from the growers in CACC, from Nuku, from Lumi, Maprik. They've just transported 2,000 bags of coffee from Nuku. So as Minister of Nuku Yoharem, all the Karem is the coffee, all the Kam, road no good. They came to Quebec to sell the coffee. And the buyers, they couldn't purchase the coffee. They just got a coffee on free. They tried to export this coffee, and after receiving the payment from the exporters, the buyers, they'll pay the patchman coffee to the farmers. Now the farmers are in Quebec waiting for payment of those of this coffee, and that's really disturbing. So, Minister Coffee, it's very, very important. You've got a very big responsibility to perform. I would like to see that all farmers must be paid for the hard-earned produce. And now, in relation to our resources, our resources now have been disturbed. The foreigners, the investors cannot come in and invest in new resource projects because of the SABL, the SABL Special Agriculture Business List. The previous government, in the former government, Somali government, they put a stop to issuing any leases to investors who are interested to come in to invest in oil palm in a bigger scale, or cocoa or coffee, because of the blockage of the SABL lease. And that's something that Deputy Prime Minister, Lands Minister, if you can do a paper and brief the cabinet, brief the parliament on the status of SABL. We can talk about bringing investors to develop our resources, but there's a blockage in the way license can be issued to the investors. That's that. Now, Minister of Agriculture has to also look at addressing the issue of the current 3 acting secretaries being appointed as the Agriculture Department secretaries. And Public Service Minister, you take note of that. If the appointment didn't come through your office, you have to intervene to make sure that we don't create a precedent for any any non-public servant to just put his paper into a minister and just take it through. There was an issue about the forced signature of the Prime Minister on the submissions, on the decisions, and that allegation, I'd like that to be addressed. The other important economic project I would like to make a comment is, thank you, Minister, for grievance debate here.
Correcting information.
Honorable
This is the Parliament. With respect to the member for Maprik, the information got to be substantiated, and it must be correct information. You tell the Parliament and asking the Prime Minister and all this, and this has been not this information of documents. Allegation is a wild allegation. It should withdraw. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me proceed. Prime Minister, thank you once again. I now would like to thank you for giving support to the Pacific Joint Industrial project in Medang. That's to process our tuna fish in the country. And I thank also the Minister for International Trade and Investment. Recently, he brought the investors of Japan to Medang. They went here to look at the Pacific Marine Industrial Zone project. It's a very important project. This project, I believe, will assist the country and the government to bring a lot of funds, foreign funds into the country to help build the economy. And it's a very important project. The way I'm looking at it, Prime Minister, to make this project work is, I'd like the government to create a working committee for that specific project. You must have a working committee. That working committee must have a chairman. The chairman must be parliamentary appointed chairman, so that you keep record of all these projects, how these projects are implemented. If you allow the bureaucrats, to take charge of this impact project, these bureaucrats, they've got their own politics within themselves. So this project, PMIJ, as I can explain to the parliament and to the country, it was my brainchild. It took me 3 years to initiate this project. This project, we are talking about it's a renewable resource, because fish is a free resource in the sea.
Yes, member for Animal Green, what is your point
I
of
think
order?
it's time for grievances debate has lapsed. Thank you.
Honorable member for Vanimo Green, your point of order is in order. Grievances debate time is has lapsed.